What's going on, guys? It's Dave Val here with Wizards of the Toast, and I'm with my man JBB,
What's up, everybody?
and he's talking about banning blue.
I am talking about just banning blue.
No, but seriously though, guys, we're actually here just coming at you with a little bit of a just a chat between both of us, talking about the state of Magic and what's been going on. There's been quite a bit of negativity in the Magic community. A lot of people unhappy with a lot of the decisions that Wizards has made, and we thought maybe we would talk to you. Guys about it and talk to you and see what's up.
Well, I mean, I know everybody's shocked and surprised that there's negativity in the Magic community, right?
I mean, you're surprised about this?
I mean, there's always been negativity in the Magic community. It's the sky is always falling, the stuff is always burning. It's just a lot of people are getting tired of it right now.
Right.
Wizards of the Coast is turning into a cash grab of it, and it's really starting to affect the player base, I think. We have Rudy did a video the other day that you were talking about how he may pass up the set, and it's a good set. But once again, it's like, where do we go from here? They made these great looking lands. I mean, I know everybody jokes they're Pokemon energy.
I mean, they really are.
I mean, they really are, but. They look fantastic. They're gorgeous, especially in foil, and the fat packs, the bundles don't have them.
Right.
Like, really, guys? Well, but the collector's packs do. The $20 packs, those got them.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to spend $20, you should get something out of there, right?
Well, I mean, you should get $5 worth of cards out of it, right?
Right. Something like that. I mean, the regular packs come with the new Pokemon land, but the fat pack doesn't, which is odd, I suppose. I mean, if the whole idea is to get them out there, I guess Wizards is just trying to sell whatever they can sell. Like you said earlier, it's like a cash grab, it seems.
Yeah, they really kind of, and they brought in the quality control with Dominaria, and Dominaria was a fantastic set. It brought a lot of people back to Magic, and I think we're starting to see some of that go away. I know some of it went away pretty quickly because they brought in some older players and things like that. Everybody remembers Dominaria from back in the day.
Sure.
That used to play, and it was nice to bring him back and get him back into the fold and get him playing again and checking out the new cards and all that. And Dominaria was just a well built set. It was really fun to draft. It was balanced around tribes and themes, and it just did a lot of good things for the community. And then from there, we most recently we're into Theros now, and before that, Throne of Eldraine. And it's not that they were bad sets, but they didn't do good things for the community.
Right.
I want to talk specifically about Throne of Eldraine because that's the one that we just finished it. Theros is still pretty new into it, and there's some good stuff in it. There's a lot of I think it's a better design set than Throne of Eldraine. There's a lot of better answers for it. For the things that are in it, whereas Throne of Eldraine was just kind of a mess. And honestly, it goes all the way back to War of the Spark, where your Planeswalkers were the best cards, and in Throne, once again, your Planeswalkers are the best card because you can't talk about Magic right now without talking about Oko,
right?
Broko, and the 3/3 Elks that literally somebody turned the Magic Wikipedia page into a bunch of 3/3 Elks, and that was hilarious. I'm sure.
Oh, that's actually really funny.
Yeah, Wizard of the Elks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have a Legacy Ban Control build that runs Oko, but I totally get it, and you wouldn't see me crying if they just ended up wiping the whole card out of every format.
Honestly, I know you're going to be surprised here, but I don't think Oko has to be as broken as he is right now, and I don't think you have to ban him to fix it.
I'm not saying that you have to ban him to fix it, but my point is, if they just wiped him off the face of the planet, you wouldn't see me crying a tear.
Well, I mean, and that's part of the problem too. Is you've got the Oko was a $30-$40 card, and then they banned him in Standard, and then they banned him in Modern, and then they banned him in Pioneer, and we had Once Upon a Time. Who knew that free spells were good, right?
Oh yeah, I never heard of that before.
Yeah, that gets banned out. So what do you have left? Where's your draw for Throne of Eldraine to hopefully get the Garruk? Like what?
Brazen Borrower, I guess.
Brazen Borrower is a decent card if you're. And honestly, I don't like the whole adventure mechanic.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a neat idea, but for a standard set that's supposed to try and get in new players, you've got a card
that creates a new zone
with another card inside of it,
Right.
but it only counts as the other card if it's on the stack.
Right.
And if you cast it as the second card, it goes into exile, but not regular exile, like you said, special exile.
I know it's
And you can cast it special exile, but you can still put it in regular exile if it gets exiled from the graveyard and not special exile. So you can't use the special. You can't use the special part of the card. It's like this is your intro to new players.
Is there a way to bring it back out of exile? Just out of curiosity, like a card that gets a card back out of exile, can you target it?
You.
I'm just curious because it's.
I don't think there's anything in the standard set that does it.
Well, I'm just talking in Magic in general. I'm just curious.
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Okay.
But I thought that it shouldn't have been a special exile. I think exile should just be exile, and it opens up so many more mechanics if you just play around exiling it. But they didn't want to do that for some reason.
No.
And I feel like they like to really take the creativity out of the players' hands. You know, we talk about the three major player bases or player personality types is what they are. And there's a couple others too, I know, but there's the Johnny, the Spike, and the Timmy, right?
Yeah.
You know, your Timmy just likes to swing with big things and do fun stuff. Your Johnny likes to brew, and your Spike just wants to win.
Right.
So what does Adventure do for those three players?
You got me.
Yeah, like, all right, it's an interesting mechanic that Johnny's can brew with a little bit, but you kneecapped them by not allowing them to do it from any type of exile. And maybe they were just trying to stop the power level, but at the same time, they also said they wanted to increase the power level, which is why they have things like Oko and Once Upon a Time. And you're like... And honestly, I have a theory, and this is, conspiracy theory time here with Oko. So, they have a quality control department that's literally made from pro players, right?
Sure.
These are the people that built the decks that win tournaments.
Right.
They grind them out, they play them, they know them inside and out, so they can play them for 8 hours and they understand how they work. They never thought to use Oko's ability on an opponent's artifact or creature to shut them down. These are the pro players.
I mean, I highly doubt that.
It's their official statement, though.
Right.
I don't believe it either, though.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Like, come on. I think it was much more likely that Oko only did their abilities, and it got reworded when they tried to fit it to a card.
Right.
And it didn't get tested. And rather than say that Wizards of the Coast, didn't test their finished product and just shipped it, which I think they did, they just said, oh, look, our quality control department pros didn't see this.
Yeah, see, that just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Like the bluest player, and I don't mean like blue as in the color, but like the newest player that at least knows the mechanics of the game would clearly see what Oko can do.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Like, and don't get me wrong, when I first looked at Oko, I said, all right, this is a pretty good card, but I don't think it's breaking the game. And then I played with it. It took all of 2 games to play with it and say, yeah, this is real bad.
That seems like an Oko thing.
Yeah, just reading the card, it's like, oh, this is pretty powerful, and then you play with it, and you're like, oh, this is not pretty powerful. This is disgustingly powerful.
Right.
So I think that their quality control department isn't getting the same leeway or having the same pull that they did back with Dominaria, and I think that's part of their problem. I think these collector packs are a problem. I mean, $20 a pack is ridiculous.
No, I mean, for some cardboard, I don't disagree at all, even with foil. Well, who cares?
Okay, if you're charging me $20 for a pack, why do I have foil commons?
Well, what I think about when I think about the collector's packs, and I go back to when they came out with Throne, it really seems to me kind of like with the Secret Lair series of Wizards, they're just trying to get into a position where they can just charge more for their cards like a secondary market. So, I mean, they're selling singles direct to consumer now with the Secret Lairs, and I'm sure they're going to expand on that. I can't see them not doing it.
Oh, God, don't get me started on the Secret Lairs.
I want to get you started on it, but, I mean, my point... But you got the Secret Lair, so now they're selling direct to consumers, which is undercutting, the shops, which, in my opinion, is complete BS, because without the shops, there is no Magic unless all they want to do is just collapse the market and everyone play Arena. But I'm going to tell you right now, I just won't be a Magic player.
The thing is Arena is still technically in beta, and I have many issues with Arena. I played it for a few months, and I couldn't tell you the last time I logged in.
I'm in the same boat. I played it for a few months, and I got sick and tired of it really quick, and I just went back to playing paper and Magic Online. And I didn't quit playing paper when I was playing Arena, but I went back to just, those avenues. In fact, when I was playing Arena, I wasn't even playing Moto very much. And after Arena, I'm like, well, I still kind of had the itch to be able to play Magic whenever I want at 1 in the morning when I have no friends around. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, I sure as heck wasn't going to log in and play Arena. So,
yeah, Arena's biggest fallout right now is the fact that you can't trade cards.
It's horrible. It's not even a TCG at this point. It's supposed to be a trading card game. You can't call it a trading card game if you can't trade your cards.
Exactly.
So it goes to my point again of Wizards really just trying to control what other people do with their product. They don't want other people to make money off of their product is almost how you look at it. It's like they're taking away single sales with the secret layer. They're doing these collector's edition packs, which are absolutely asinine in my opinion. To get more money out of the pocket of the consumer into theirs instead of into the shop. If someone walks into a shop and buys, a box of collector's edition for buco hundreds of dollars, that's less money they have to spend in your store on stuff like singles and things like that you make a better margin on than the small margin that you make on the sealed product, because Wizards is already undercutting the stores by allowing, Amazon to get them dirt cheap and sell them for almost no profit at all, which again hurts local shops. And that just, it upsets me to the core. And it feels like, I grew up playing Magic. I grew up playing Magic in small shops. And, I see it's like an attack on that. And that just bothers the hell out of me.
It bothers the hell out of me as an owner.
I know. Well, I didn't know if you wanted to let everyone here know that you're a shop owner.
I am the shop owner.
Okay.
So
now you know where his insight's coming from. So.
My insights are coming from as a shop owner, and I've got to pay X amount of dollars in rent for tables that just sit there, and I have to justify those tables by selling product. And the single market, the new product market hasn't justified that table space for quite some time. It's always been the secondary market that does it. I will say that the collector's boosters do have a better margin than the regular booster boxes do at this point. Okay. Regular booster boxes have been a race to the bottom for years, and because Wizards won't put any kind of limitation or anything else on it, and as good as Magic players are at math, they're bad at business, which is why most card shops fail within the first couple of years.
Right.
They'll give away the farm.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, I've got to pay rent now, and I didn't do it making $5 a box. Well, no shit.
Be known that JBB shop's been around for like 10 years now, so it
hasn't been quite 10 years,
but it's getting close.
It's been around for a little while.
It's not one of the
but I also don't
survive
on
shops.
solely Magic.
Right.
And if I did, I would have closed.
Right. That's fair. I'm just pointing out that it's not like you're a brand new shop for 6 months, and this is years of insight here. So
yeah, we've done what we could, and like I said, if it wouldn't have been for other things, I would have shut down.
Right.
Because Magic is it's a race to the bottom on the new market. Now the used market it's where you make your money and you stay open and you stay in business, which kind of brings me to the next point. They just banned Mox Opal out of Modern.
Right.
Right. I had 6 of those sitting in my shop. Yeah, I'm losing my ass on them. And why was the ban? Because Urza in Modern was broken.
Right.
Well, they just made a Pioneer, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole new format that does exactly what Modern does, but without fetches.
Yeah, it seems fun.
So, why did they do that?
Well, it works like this. It's hey, we're Wizards of the Coast, so we're gonna make this really cool set for Modern called Modern Horizons. We're going to introduce a new fetch land, a Force of Negation, like a Force of Will type, Modern card. And we're going to give you all these really cool tools. And then we're just going to destroy the format by creating Pioneer. Hi, we're Wizards of the Coast.
They do a lot of things that is really just, they don't make any sense, right?
Right.
Once again, as a shop owner, I kind of see these things. So if you remember War of the Spark, that whole Return to Ravnica set, I really enjoyed the set. I hate War of the Spark.
Right.
War of the Spark is really where they took a downswing. So if you remember, they made the alternative art Japanese cards, right?
Yeah, of course.
They didn't tell us. As a shop owner, they didn't tell me.
Right.
They didn't do anything. They was like, hey, by the way, there's these cool Japanese arts if you order the Japanese boxes. I don't order Japanese boxes because I don't get that many people that want foreign cards. So I didn't order any, and suddenly everybody wanted them. Like, they're so worried about profit and making money and selling cards, and then they do something like this, and then they don't tell anybody.
Right.
But I thought you wanted to make money here. I mean, they just shoot themselves in the foot so many times, and so many times over. You know, with the last big Legacy tournament, when they did it on Easter, because Legacy players don't have families, I guess.
I mean, I'm a Legacy player with a big family. I don't know what they're talking about.
Most Legacy players do have families. There tend to be older players that have been playing for a while.
And have money.
And have money.
Which generally means they
have good jobs, they have families, and they made the one Legacy tournament on Easter weekend and then said, oh, look, Legacy's dying.
Right. I mean,
you did it on Easter weekend.
I mean, the Grand Prix. We went to the Grand Prix in Atlanta, and it was large. It was large. There was a lot of people there. It was one of the bigger Grand Prix last year, from what I understand.
Right before they banned Ren and 6, another $100 card they banned out of the format. So,
yeah.
So glad that they make this an investment, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
at this point, why not? I mean, they're banning $100 cards and destroying their value anyway. Why do we still have a reserve list?
Yeah. Yeah, it really comes down to it. Like, I have preached and bitched and moaned that Ren and 6 paid the ultimate price for Delver Secret Sins.
Right.
Because Ren and 6 by itself is not a terribly broken card. And if they would make a couple of new cards to deal with Planeswalkers, and they would change the Planeswalker rules so that opponents can interact with the Planeswalkers' loyalties before they go up, we wouldn't have this problem. Ren and 6 would be boltable.
Yeah.
Nobody would give a shit about Ren and 6 at that point. Like, okay, if I don't have a bolt or a kill or something else in hand, and a Swords to Planeswalkers would be great. They need some more Planeswalker kill spells.
They could make it. They could make it where the loyalty expenditure / addition, activating the abilities isn't part of the cost, but is part of the effect. And then if they activate it, you could bolt in response.
That's exactly. I've been pushing for that, or I've been pushing that ruling change for a while, where the loyalty abilities use the stack with their ability, or the loyalty counters use the stack with their ability, so you can respond to them before they go up.
Yeah, I mean, they'll still get the activation at least once.
Get the activation at least once.
Right.
It's a fair, simple one. All of a sudden, Oko can get fried.
Right.
Fried,
by the way, is a pretty darn good card.
Fried is a fantastic card.
And it'd be even better if Oko wasn't a thing. Well, I mean, if Fry even kills Jace after activation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
It just doesn't kill Oko after activation.
Right.
Fry is a Planeswalker killer that doesn't kill Planeswalkers. Thanks, Wizards.
Yeah, I mean, they should. Why not make it 6? Just make it 6.
I mean, granted, it only kills white or blue Planeswalkers, but
yeah, but
it's uncounterable. It does 5 damage. It's great.
Yeah, except for against Oko.
Except they made a Planeswalker come in with 6 loyalty.
Right. It's goofy, man. I don't know.
Yeah, they do a lot of weird things that just don't make sense.
Right.
The thing is I agree Modern was getting a little bit on the stale side. They came out with Hogak and Modern Masters, if you remember that mess.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit, and I said
Modern Horizons.
Modern Horizons, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I keep calling it a master set because it's a master set. They just didn't call it a master set.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, they were introducing new cards. It wasn't just reprints, right?
It's true. Yeah, they introduced a lot of new cards, and they've banned 3 of them now.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool.
Maybe 2 of them. Because Urza should have gotten banned, and Mox Opal paid the price for Urza.
Yeah, which is stupid.
I mean, they're like, oh well, it's in this other deck, and it's in these 3 other decks, and I was like, so are islands. You don't ban those, right?
Right.
A lot of them weren't even top tier decks. Like, oh, this made a splash 2 years ago. It had Opal in it. I can see how Opal gets banned. Oh, no, yeah, that's not how it works.
They've already banned. They probably came out with this Horizon set to, add to Modern, and then they're afraid they're already banning Ren and 6, and
which they didn't need. Well, they didn't ban Ren and 6 out of Modern because Ren and 6 doesn't have Wasteland. They banned it out of Legacy.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, my bad. My point is they don't want to go around banning a bunch of cards out of the set that they just introduced to the format. It would just once again make their quality control department look
terrible,
like they don't exist.
Which is why we had over 6 months of graveyard decks because Hogak didn't get banned. It was what was it? Bridge from Below or whatever got banned out of it first.
I absolutely hate graveyard decks, by the way. Just all of them. Reanimator, Hogak, Dredge.
I think there's a place for them.
I didn't say there's not a place for them. I just don't like them. Like any type of deck that I sit down against playing Magic, I hate Graveyard Recursion the most. I always have. I don't know why.
You play Show and Tell.
That's not Graveyard Recursion. It's not about the ability to win on turn one. I just don't like all that interaction with the graveyard. I just don't like it. And Dredge is like the one that really gets to me. Like, I understand how the deck works. I know how to fight it with every deck that I play, yet I still hate it. And I'm sitting at the Grand Prix in Atlanta, and I was playing against the Dredge deck. Actually, I saw 2 Dredge decks. I saw 2 Reanimator decks, and I don't remember the rest. But anyway, I'm playing against Dredge, and one of the opponents goes, okay, go to Dredge Step. And I'm like, oh my God. He didn't call it Draw Step. He called it Dredge Step. You were sitting there when he did it. Was it you or?
It wasn't me.
Huh?
It wasn't me.
Okay, well, one of the people that we went with was sitting next to me. I'm not going to name names because.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
I just literally just put my hand on my face and I was like, oh dear.
Well, I think Reanimator and Graveyard decks do have a place. I do like interaction. Obviously, I'm a bit more of a brewer than anything else because all I do is play with bad, janky shit.
You know what I like? Leyline of the Void. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I mean, Leyline of the Void's a really good card, and they reprinted it.
Yes, they did.
And it didn't matter.
I mean, it made it a lot cheaper.
It did make it a lot cheaper. People, the problem that they're having is a good way to look at it is there's questions and there's answers in Magic, right? A lot of your cards that win you games ask questions, can you deal with this?
Right.
And a lot of the cards that deal with it have answers to those questions. The problem is that for the last few years now, the questions have been so much better than the answers. Why answer it?
Right.
Just ask the question. You know, Oko is a great example of it. Oko dealt with every problem in the format except for Planeswalkers, so he fixed everything except himself. So why play Elder Spell where you can kill Planeswalkers when you can just play Oko and win?
I mean, that's fair.
You know, it asks a better question, and the answer, while playable or while good, isn't necessarily playable and doesn't win you games. The question does. So your answers have to be better than your questions because answers generally don't win you games. And Oko was an answer and a question because he answered everything that wasn't another Planeswalker.
Right.
You know, they made a lot of other really weird decisions. I can't talk about bad cards without talking about Baby Teferi, the 3-drop, the time traveler or whatever the hell his name is.
You know, they made Arena modeled after Hearthstone, so I guess they figured they'd make Magic Hearthstone.
Well, I actually joke that it was a card to remind Magic players how terrible other card games are that don't have instant speed interaction. We get it, Wizards. Please ban it. Let me go back to playing Magic.
I do play Teferi as well in that Bant build, I'm just saying.
I mean, why wouldn't you? It stops your opponent from playing Magic and you're in control.
Right.
This is why you just ban blue.
So funny.
Yeah, there's just so many badly designed cards for no other way to put it. Like, Oko's a badly designed card. Teferi's a badly designed card. Even Narset from War of the Spark, we have a blue card that just circle jerks itself.
Yeah.
The best draw is in blue. The best anti-draw is now in blue.
I mean, that's fair.
I thought the counters to blue were supposed to be red and green. Well,
I mean, if you think about it, the best interaction is in blue. You know, with counter spells and things like that. And the best counter to interaction is also in blue with Teferi.
Exactly. It just does terrible things.
It does.
I mean, we're at a point in Legacy where you have to play blue or you have to play black or you have to play both.
Right.
Because you either need the hand hate to rip things out of their hands in time, and honestly, there's so much draw right now that doesn't do a whole lot, as I proved with John time and time again. And you need the instant speed counter spells because there's no other interaction with them. We have several keywords with Shroud and Hexproof that are both in blue that allow you to not interact with permanents on the battlefield, so you have to deal with them while they're on the stack or in the hand. And the only thing that interferes with them while they're in the stack or in the hand is blue and black.
I mean,
but they're blue abilities. So the circle jerk that they have with blue is just insane sometimes.
I mean, it is a pretty color if you go out in a nice day. The sky is blue. I mean,
I mean, have you seen the Pokemon Islands? Like,
I mean, yes,
I'm not gonna lie, every single one of those artworks is beautiful,
I agree.
and they didn't put them in fat packs.
I
We
mean,
want to sell cards, but not bundles.
I do want to get some of those lands, but it's a thing.
I mean, it's a thing.
I like beta basics, but I like those now too.
I mean, I'm definitely going to stack up, and I'm going to send on some foils because I feel that Wizards has put themselves in this situation before, and they've pulled out of it. I think they're going to pull out of it again. I do worry that this is they need another driving force because their cash grab mentality is just terrible.
Yeah.
It's almost like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. I think that there is a need for an extended type of format. I don't think there was a need for a second modern.
Right.
You know, Pioneer could have been an extended rotating format like the old extended, and I think it would have been just fine. I think it would have done wonderful things just like it did, and I think it would have rotated out and nobody would have cared a whole lot.
Right.
Modern wouldn't have been nearly as affected as it is. Like, I was explaining to one of my regulars the other day, he was talking about how it's Legacy that's dead, and Modern and Pioneer are the new ruling forces. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
So, you know, they haven't supported, like, and a lot of it was because they stopped the support for Legacy.
Right.
And I was like, they stopped support for Vintage a long time ago, and it's not dead. Because the appeal is there to play with expensive, powerful cards that you just can't find or see anywhere else.
Right.
Legacy's got that same appeal, except it doesn't have the Power 9. Modern's had that appeal, but it's all newer cards. Pioneer, like, what are you going to do? You don't have any of that appeal.
I mean, Vintage. The thing about Vintage is, yeah, it's Legacy with Power 9 essentially, and some other stuff. Tolarian Academy comes to mind, but anyway, it's missing some elements. Like, you can't play 4 brainstorms in Vintage.
Right.
They
have more powerful stuff, but they do have a restricted list that isn't necessarily there in Legacy.
Yeah.
You know, Legacy does have its points where you can play those 4 ofs.
Like, well, you're right, because I tried to build Sneak and Show in Vintage, and I've still failed. And not because of the power of the Vintage format versus that deck. It's just because when you're missing things like 4 of Brainstorms and 4 of Ponders, it's...
And don't forget the 4 preordains.
And yeah.
Because why shouldn't you have 12 cards to do the exact same thing?
But my point is the whole point of a deck like Sneak and Show is to find its combo.
Right.
And you know, you don't have that. I even tried running black with Vampiric Tutor and Demonic Tutor, and it doesn't run as smoothly. I've had those first turn wins where I drop a Black Lotus, show and tell, you know, but you know, it just doesn't have the consistency.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's a different game.
Right.
There's a lot of power in Vintage. There's a lot of power in Legacy, but it's a different type of power. There's a different type of draw.
Right.
You still get the 4-ofs in Legacy. You still got more powerful cards in Vintage. You know, Modern was always just kind of a bad legacy because they cut it off at 8th edition. But now that they got Pioneer, and Pioneer is the new Modern, where it's like, okay, it goes back to Return to Ravnica, but you don't play with fetches. Okay, that seems like a decent enough format. It seems like a bit more fair format, so you don't have to go investing heavily into fetches and all those kind of things. So where's the appeal of Modern? Because Modern was just bad legacy before, but now it's you know, Pioneer with fetches.
Right.
Why not just play Legacy?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, really. And I kind of agree with you, and I never even thought about it until you had said it, whereas Pioneer should have been like a rotating extended type format. That would have been kind of nice. I would have actually slightly been interested.
Yeah, it would. I think it would have gone over a little bit better rather than just making another every 5 years coming out with a new permanent format.
Right.
Just suck it up and make it extended. That's what you're doing anyway.
Right.
But I do think that they need to stop some of the cash grabs that they've got. These extended arts, they're pretty, they're nice, but there's a lot of cards that just aren't necessary. Like, we've got the Constellation cards in this Theros set, and they look pretty and they look nice, but why wasn't it the regular artwork?
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, it very well could have been. It would have been a draw to buy boxes. And now we're talking about you just told me that the value of the Theros box is already down to $70, which is less than I pay for it.
Right.
As a distributor, or from a distributor, I pay less than $70. Or I pay more than $70 a box, and the value just isn't there. And a lot of it is because they keep coming out with, all right, well, they've also, not only that, I'm sorry to go off topic for a second here, but they also increased the prints of the foils. And we can't talk about all the mistakes they're making without talking about that.
Oh, yeah. I heard, I've watched a few openings of Throne and Theros on Rudy's channel.
Yeah.
And it's foil, 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 foil. It's almost like...
Yeah, there's a whole... With Throne of Eldraine, they increased the number of foils in a box so that your foils are not even chase cards at this point.
I remember back when foils first came out, man, if you got a couple of foils a box, you did well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was pretty cool. And you saw someone playing a foil. And I'm going to be honest with you, old frame foils are just the most beautiful things ever. But anyway, that's besides the point. That's just...
I've seen some 7th edition foils, and I disagree.
Oh, man, you're just wrong. But anyway,
that's okay. You're a blue player. I don't trust your opinion on anything.
I mean, one of the cards that's in my head right now is an old frame foil, is a blue card. So
I don't doubt it.
But it's not even a good one. It's like, I forget the name of it. It's like Bobbling Beebles or something like that. I don't know, but it's just so good. It's not good. It's so beautiful. But anyway, my point is back then you would get the old foils, or when you would see someone playing foils, you're like, wow, that's just awesome. And now you're right, it's not even a chase anymore.
Yeah, they're really not. They've taken away, and that's where part of the problem with the box prices is they've taken away the chase of the box prices, and I don't know if they're trying to get away from selling boxes and go straight to collector boosters, or I don't know. I know that I'm writing really big checks for a lot of cards that are losing value very quickly.
Right.
And it's terrifying prospect, because where does the future lead us?
Right.
And they keep putting in arena codes. And once again, it's like, okay, arena isn't Magic. Like, you're playing Magic, but it's you said it exactly right. It's not a trading card game. You're not trading anything. You're just buying cards.
You can't even talk with your opponent outside of a little, like, bubble pops-ups and stuff. At least in Magic Online, you can trade your cards. You can talk to your opponent, whether or not it's
Mm-hmm.
it's good conversation is for another discussion. But at least you can have the conversation with your opponent if needed.
Yes.
Like, it's in Magic, it's Magic in form, and that's it. It's certainly not Magic in spirit.
Yeah, it looks great. I agree the graphics are very much Hearthstone-like, and I like the graphics of Hearthstone. But it's not a trading card game anymore.
Yeah.
And I can't understand, like, they put the arena codes in packs and in Planeswalker decks and things like that. Or, I'm sorry, not in packs, the pre-release kits.
Right.
They're in the pre-release kits, not the Planeswalker decks. So they've got those, and you're limited to one. Wizards, you give us a 5-card pack,
right,
with those things, and we get one.
Right.
You're like, sorry, you've already redeemed a code. We can't trade cards.
Right.
What does it does are you really expecting to sell that many 5-card packs on Arena that you can't give us a damn code for your physical product?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
At this point, what, like, Pokemon does it.
Yeah.
Pokemon gives you a full pack every time you buy a pack. You just put in the code.
I'm well aware, actually.
Yeah, Wizards, it's like, we'll give you 5 cards. Oh, and you can only use it once. Really, guys? Like, how are you supporting your player base here? Are you really surprised that people are getting pissed and people are getting tired of your shit? Why should we invest in cards if you're just going to print something that you want to sell so you ban it? Sorry, Max Opal. We don't want another card out of Modern. We're not gonna ban this Urza that does broken shit. We're gonna ban the one that taps for mana if you have 3 artifacts.
Right.
And that seems to be kind of their go-to right now, where they don't understand how to deal with the problem of the format, so they just attack the mana base. They're like a land destruction ban list. They banned Deathrite Shaman because he was a mana fixer. They banned Ren and 6 because he was a mana fixer. They're banning Mox Opal because he's a mana fixer. I guarantee you they're going to ban Astrolabe because it's a mana fixer. Like, with the exception of the Hogak and the Reanimator decks that didn't care about mana, what have they banned that wasn't a mana fixer?
That's
I mean, Oko, because they really fucked up with Oko.
You think they ban Astrolabe next?
Oh, I think they absolutely ban Astrolabe. They've already banned it out of Pauper.
Another mana fixer.
Yeah. Well, they've already banned it out of Pauper.
Right.
And I think it's just only a matter of time before they ban it out of every format. I mean, and honestly, I'm okay with that ban. It's a common, it was worth $1 at one point. Okay, I'm not invested in this card. I can get around this card.
The thing about Astrolabe is it very easily could have been fixed. If it didn't replace itself, it'd been fine.
I know, and that's just it. It's just one more problem that they have, and I know we're seeing super hypocritical of what they're doing, and it's really easy to look at a card in hindsight and see it's a problem. It's a lot harder to look at a card when it's not in hindsight and see it's a problem.
Right.
I'm sure Astrolabe didn't seem all that great because you had to have a snowland to cast it, and snowlands were only in this set and when it was going to be used, and in hindsight, it's like it's just too good. I can't. I know I've told other people, and I know I've told you. I got him to Turok the other day by somebody with 2 islands.
Wow.
Yeah. Super fun.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's go ahead and cut it off there, guys. But before we have our next episode of Just Chatting or whatever you want to call this, I will say that we need to discuss something that's insane.
What's that?
How about a Magic the Gathering MMO?